Today, my friends, I have for you a TH12 guide to Hybrid. This strategy is definitely one of the strongest attacks at TH12, and we're going to show you guys a couple variations of it in order to sort of 3-star properly with this, but we're also going to give you guys the tips and tricks necessary to 3-star with it more often. So we're going to first start out here with the Yeti bomb, and Yeti bomb into Hybrid is extremely easy. I mean, it really doesn't take too much effort to really use this. For one, you are using the blimp, and typically you're trying to look for an area where you can then just queen walk, and that's about it. So on this base here, the biggest thing that you want to deal with is the CC. So the idea is the first thing that you should be looking for if you're going to use a hybrid is the CC radius. From here, we can tell that we can get a multi-inferno if we send in our blimp here, and we can take out that inferno very easily with just a Yeti bomb. So that allows us to get a lot of really good value from that Yeti bomb itself. And then all we have to do from there is just walk our queen along here after taking care of the CC, and we can take care of the town hall. So that creates that side of the funnel. So just to draw it out here, you can see that this is basically what we're going to be doing. So we're just cutting off this area here. So what about the other side? What are we going to do there? Well, we're going to drop in our king maybe right around here, and he's going to work his way around here, I believe. But let me just get a different color so that then it's a little bit easier to see. But making sure that we can still create the funnel over here, that way what we can do is we can send in our miners and hogs this way is going to be the big thing. If we don't take care of the town hall, that's fine. It's not as important because we can still use our hybrid to get rid of it. You'll see right here is that we have an even number. We're going to take a look at some that are a little bit odd as well, like only 8 hog riders and stuff like that. So that's really going to kind of determine on how you guys can sort of use these different or use this in a different way. So of course, the first step when you're attacking with this is doing the Yeti bomb. So you have a couple options with your Yeti bomb. You could either start your queen, but most of the time you're going to start your Yeti bomb first. And that's a really, really good thing here because you can get some value from there. On top of that, you're going to then do your queen walk and then create the other side of the funnel. Then you're going to drop in your hybrid. That's really, really simple. It's really not too difficult to sort of understand. I mean, the only thing that really could prevent you from 3-starring here is having that blimp pop too early. Like, let's say over the cannon. It really isn't going to get a ton of value because you didn't take care of the Grand Warden and you probably didn't take care of any of the other buildings. You didn't clear it out. So that's sort of the idea there that you've got to kind of think about when you're using a Yeti bomb. But just remember, Yeti bomb, it's definitely the safest way to get value and also to lure out a CC, because most of the time you're still going to get that value that you were looking for. You know, you're going to take down that Inferno or the Eagle or whatever, and you're still going to be able to lure out the CC. Just make sure that that's your first step when you're planning is looking at that CC. You got to take that out, especially if it's a damaged CC or an E-drag. So you'll see right here, we're going to start with the example, and you're going to see that we're going to be dropping in maybe 1 balloon, but typically that's what you want to do. You want to drop in a Coco Loon. So you want to make sure that you have tankage for your stones or for your battle blimp. So you'll see right here though is that we're going to be dropping in the battle blimp and then the 2 loons. Typically I would usually, use that a little bit opposite, but either way, you guys can still see here that we are getting some value from it, especially as all the Yeti mites are able to take out that entire area and lure out the CC. So you guys can see right there, even though it wasn't directly on the or on the Inferno, you still got rid of that. Now, you may already also be asking, what about single Infernos? Actually, it's a lot better if you Yeti bomb on a single. So let's say like that compartment was a single, then easily getting rid of that is almost a must because you're not going to have that extra damage from the multi-beams. That's going to really allow you to take care of that entire compartment way easier. So yes, this is a viable way to take care of those multi and single target Inferno bases. So both of them are going to be very easy. So you'll see that what we're going to do is we created the funnel for the queen now with the baby dragon. And then now you can see that we're dealing with the enemy CC. We've got a double witch and a baby dragon CC. However, again, it's not that hard to deal with. So that's why what we're going to be doing is just poisoning it up. We don't even have to rage up our queen. We can save our rage spells for maybe our hybrid or something like that. But you'll see that she is working her way down here. You saw earlier as well, there were 2 balloons up top, because what they were trying to do is force the queen in. They basically cut this area off so she can go into the base. So you'll see from down here, is that we have the king going in here. So what we're going to be doing now is basically sending in our miners in almost a sort of shape like this. So we're sending them in a wide area. But that's fine. We have an even number, so that's going to allow us to get into the base. You'll see that we had to pop our warren ability pretty early. We want to make sure that we're protecting as many of them as possible, especially through the eagle. So that is going to be the biggest thing there. But remember, you have 3 heal spells, so you don't have to use all of them right up at the beginning. You want to try and make sure that you're saving at least one of them. But you'll see that you want to try and make sure that you are protecting all of your hogs and your miners as much as possible. They really synergize well, and it really allows you to get a lot of really solid value from them. I know I say value a lot in my videos, but that's the name of the game there. So I'm sorry, but whenever you're looking at a base, when you're planning, you've got to look at what are the key things that you're looking for. What are going to be the big things that is really going to change up your attack against that base? What's going to allow you to get that 3-star? It's the value that you can get from a base. So of course, people are probably going to make those literally nobody, CorruptYT value. I've seen those before, so I'm not surprised. But this still gives you guys a solid look into using the hybrid. Again, super simple, using the Yeti bomb with it. But now let's go ahead and show you guys some non-Yeti bomb attacks with using the siege barrack with the hybrid. So here's an example where we just have 8 hogs, 18 miners. We have a siege barrack, and we also have super wall breakers. So the main idea here is, alright, so by looking at this base, would you charge into here? It's probably going to be very difficult to even charge in that area. So as far as I can say, that's not a good area to charge. The only real place that you can charge into is right there, or I guess you could break in if you wanted to. You could probably even use a Yeti bomb here if you wanted to too. But I would say with this is that the siege barrack would be better, because what you're going to be able to do is you're going to create a funnel over here for the queen, because you want her to actually walk into here. Take a look at where the CC is. Just remember, again, that this is the first thing that you want to look for. So you guys can see right here is that the CC is actually by a multi-inferno and the queen. That's pretty good value, if I have to say so. You can get bomb towers, wizard towers, archer towers. There's some pretty good sort of defenses around that area to take out. And we can still deal with the enemy CC very easily. And then all we have to do on this top side is use the king and the siege barrack, and that allows us to create that funnel there. So now what this gives us is our narrow path into the base, into the town hall. So this is the reason why this strategy doesn't really need to get the town hall so often. So you'll see right here, we're going to play it, and we're just going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. So we're dropping in our queen almost immediately, and actually the multi-inferno is able to target over that wall. So she's going to start taking damage almost immediately, which is definitely good. Now, super wall breakers are really good for this attack. I even used them at Town Hall 13. Super good with the hybrid. The main idea, though, that I was trying to get out of them was that you are trying to break into an area. So multi-inferno beams are totally not really going to be very effective against them. They have way too much health to sort of freeze up. So this actually allows you to free up a space instead of bringing a heal or two. Now, you'll see that we used a rage spell. The rage spell here in this case, we wanted to make sure that we were still getting we were getting the queen, but we're raging up so that we can deal with her a lot easier, because you can see she got to red. She almost had to force the ability. So that was definitely really close, but that's why we raged up. But then as we're continuing to go in, we have to use either another rage, or we can use that current rage to deal with the enemy CC. As long as the healers are underneath the rage, we're going to get some good value from the rage spell on top of the queen. So you'll see right here is that now we're starting with our other side of the funnel. This is where we're going to be using our siege barrack and the king. So the king will pop his ability in order to sort of take care of the enemy king to continue the funnel. And now you'll see that we have a perfectly solid funnel going into the base. So what we've got here is we've got the miners that are going to work their way in, which is the reason why we sent in our siege barrack here. Just easier instead of going in right here, which maybe some people will be tempted to do, but even myself, I would. But you guys can see that we get more from the base, or we get more from our funnel if we place it there. So then what we have is we have our hogs going into that area, which is why we're healing them up. We use a warden ability over the town hall to protect our hog riders, more specifically, because the miners, they won't take any damage from it. But then you'll see as we're going through, we are trying to keep our miners and our hogs alive, especially since they're still mostly together. So the heal spells, again, being used as you go through. Even though there's a single inferno here, single infernos really just get completely wrecked with this strategy. So if you're seeing triple singles, then this is probably definitely a good strategy to go against. Just remember that you don't want to charge into a single inferno. Because if you try, then you're most likely going to have to bring a heal spell or something, because you really don't want to charge into a single. Just that is a big no-no, so you want to make sure that you're avoiding them, but make sure that you're still getting value from the queen. So if you have to charge into one, feel free, but you got to bring maybe one or two, even two free spells just to get through that one area. But other than that, you guys can still see here, super simple example, and shows you guys how you guys can actually 3-star with hybrid again, but this time without the use of a Yeti bomb, but with the siege barrack. So we're going to take a look at a couple more examples with this, but let's go ahead and take a look at another example with pretty even hogs and also miners. So we've got another base, and you'll see here is that we are bringing 8 wall breakers, so no jump. We have 2 free spells though. So we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later as we go through the example. But notice where the CC is. So where is the area that you would most likely charge into? For me, it would have to be the town hall compartment. I mean, if the town hall is if it's not, entirely on the outside, but not entirely on the inside, it's offset in a way, and if the CC is right by it, then I would totally charge into this area. Now, of course, you have different ways. If you have access to the super wall breakers, then it's going to be very easy to break into those compartments. With wall breakers, though, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you got to make sure that you're, using one test wall breaker and then sending the whole group in. So that's going to be sort of the idea that you want to try and make sure that you're taking a look at. So if we sort of, I want to play this example for you guys, but I just want to explain it a little bit more. So you guys can see right here is that we have all of our multi-infernos set over here. So what we're going to try and do is charge our way into here. That's going to create this side of the funnel. So then what we're going to do is we're going to drop in the siege barrack maybe over here or even right over here. But what we're going to do is we're going to create this side of the funnel, leaving us to send in our hybrid this way. So that's what we're going to be trying to do with this strategy. I could be wrong again, but I think the idea though is, of course, you're trying to get as much value from your funnel as possible. So that's why we typically bring something like a Mecha. So you'll see right here as well is that we had 3 wall breakers, we had a test wall breaker, and then we had 3 more going in. So notice how we're not using all of them, but we're also going to take care of the CC right here, which is a bunch of Valkyries and a balloon. So this is something that you guys may not see all the time, but this is still very, very easy to deal with. All Valks are really not that hard to deal with, but you'll see that we're sending in another group of wall breakers, and that allows us to sort of get into the base. So then we took care of the enemy CC, easy. And then you're going to see that because there's a ground expo as well, freezing up the cannon, and also the town hall allows us to get through that and allows us to mitigate a lot of that damage on the queen. So you'll see that now here, we've got a funnel set on this side, but you'll see that of course, I was wrong again, but you'll see that what we're doing is we're going to clear out these structures here, here, and we're going to just basically create the funnel over on this side. So that's all you're doing. So, of course, even though my prediction was a little off, I think the idea, though, is that you are trying to get value by funneling one side of the base with your queen, and then the other side you're going to use your siege barrack. So this is another great example of just using the hybrid, this time with a variation of wall breakers instead of super wall breakers. So it gives you guys the idea of, you know, how you guys can really truly deal with different things. You'll see that he's going to freeze up the enemy king so he can avoid popping his queen ability, but he will, of course. But you'll see that after that entire funnel has been made, we can send in our hog riders and our miners. And what we're doing is we're just going to travel around the base here, especially with those hog riders. We're going to try and move everything around like this. With the queen going down, we do have to kind of worry about where we're going to be dropping in or where we're going to use our Grand Warren ability. So the Grand Warren ability, like you've seen earlier in previous ones, you're going to try and use it around the early moments. Don't try to use it, you know, like later on or like right as you place the warden. Make sure that you're using it right when they get into the base and when they settle in there. That's when you're going to be able to get a lot of good value from them. Other than that, it's still extremely simple. This gives you guys a solid approach into seeing how you guys can use this attack strategy a little bit more effectively. Very, very simple stuff. Now, of course, I might get comments asking me, you know, when do you use a certain number of hogs and miners and stuff like that? It really is going to determine on your playstyle, and it's also going to determine on, you know, the army composition that you're bringing. So if you want more cleanup, you might bring less hogs, more miners. I don't know. It's going to really be up to you in terms of what you think is right for the base. So let's take a look at one last example for you guys to sort of understand, for me to break down, so then you guys can use this strategy a lot more easier, or I guess use it easily at Town Hall 12. So last one, before I play this, I want you guys in the comments, just let me know, where would you start your queen charge? Would you, by looking at the CC radius, where would you go for? Now, let me give you a couple things. The Town Hall is walkable. So, yes, in that compartment, I've seen it before. Yeah, you can walk that. So, is that really going to be enough if you just, like, super wall break into two of those compartments? Probably not. So, the idea, though, that I want you guys to do with this is that I want you guys to take a look at the base and say, where would you charge into? Where do you see value? And that's going to be the idea that I want you guys to take. So, basically, I'm going to answer this by saying, all right, so the CC and the Town Hall. So, you guys can see right here, this is not going to be a good area because you can just already walk that Town Hall. So, it's really not worth, you know, taking care of. Instead, take a look at this area. If we use super wall breakers here, or even just regular wall breakers like you saw in the previous one, if we charge our way into this area here, get the eagle, get the CC, and we have a jump spell. So we can actually jump and get two multi-infernos if we continue to go this way. So there's a lot more value if we use it there than anywhere else, because we can actually get the eagle down and we don't have to worry about that now. So that's going to be sort of the thought process. Another thing is, what about charging in here? Well, then there's no need for super wall breakers. We want to try and make sure that we're using our super wall breakers, getting maybe 1-2 layers in, and then using a jump spell later on. That just allows ourselves to use our hybrid super easy, allow our queen to sort of charge. We don't need to worry about her anymore. So that's all good. So now let's go ahead and play it. And I just want you guys to really take a look at how the attacker is going to funnel in their entire sort of hybrid. So you want to make sure that you're taking a look at how they're funneling in their queen. So I know it froze a little bit there, but baby dragon here, the main reason a lot of people will use baby dragons are in order to sort of create that side of the funnel. So we're trying to make sure that our queen is going in the right area, which is the reason why we're using a baby dragon. A lot of the time, P.E.K.K.A.s are being used. I don't know if you guys have seen my funneling guide. I'm going to leave it as a card, but P.E.K.K.A.s are really good for funneling, and this is no joke. Bringing at least maybe one P.E.K.K.A. can really do a lot of work for you. So creating that side of the funnel for the queen, that allows you to really allow you to actually get a lot of good value from there. So we're going to deal with the enemy CC. Not too bad. I think it was like, maybe a baby dragon. I know that there was like a witch, ice golem, and also a balloon, but I'm not sure what else was in there. But you guys can see from here as well is that as our queen is charging her way in this way, we're using our king here, siege barrack here, and now what we've got is we have a clear funnel being set right here that is going to allow us to send our miners and our hog riders to go in this way. So there's some easy pathing going on. That's what you've got to think about when you're using a hybrid is how is the pathing on the base? Can you get a lot of really solid value if I just use, if you just create that funnel on this side and then hybrid your way here without taking care of the town hall? You'll see that what we're doing is we're saving our warden ability too. So if you're going in away from the town hall, which is sometimes risky, sometimes not, you're going to wait for your warden ability. You're going to wait until it gets pretty close, and then you're going to pop it once you know that they're going to be right onto that town hall. Of course, there's going to be maybe some ground skeletons that could defend it, but you'll see that right here, we're going to pop the warden ability. That's going to protect the miners, the hog riders, and that's going to allow us to actually get rid of that town hall and easily walk through the rest of the base easy. So that really goes over all the key things about the hybrid. I hope that this video kind of helps you guys improve in it. I don't know how helpful it is. I hope that all these videos that I do are very clean. They're really up to the point instead of me, of course I'm trying to break it down, but I want to get right to the point on what I'm talking about. So I hope that hopefully that is what it's looking like for not just this video, but for all the other videos I've done for Town Hall 11 and even for future videos when I do Town Hall 12 as well. So definitely, please let me know. I'd really appreciate all the sort of feedback and support that you guys would really give me. So feel free, guys, to go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Also, feel free to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. And also, don't forget to subscribe or follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, join my community Discord, subscribe to me on Twitch. All the links are in the description. Also, feel free to go ahead and maybe even find something in my Playmakers gaming store. I'll leave that as a link in the description as well. It's a great place where you can get some jerseys from Exit Humanity to maybe even something from me with my logo on it. So definitely feel free to check that out as well. And also feel free to go ahead and join any of the clans I cover in this game. Feel free. All their Discords are in the description below. And all of that being said, if you have what it takes to join a league clan, then feel free. Remember that they're all requesting for max people. So try to make sure that you are max before, applying to each of the clans that you think that you guys can maybe even be able to play with. Just make sure that your account is staying in there. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, remember to continue supporting the channel by either subscribing, as I said earlier, or just, maybe even becoming a member. So with that being said, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.